Good morning, guys. Today we're going to go over how to prune gaura. For those of you that are unfamiliar with the plant, I think when I was selling them, for the most part, I had this color. It's kind of a bushy, whimsical, small shrub perennial that blooms pretty much throughout the summer all the way until the fall. The only thing is you want to kind of make sure that you can prune it periodically. In the late spring to early summer, you can prune it back as, pretty hard, hummingbird moth, in order to encourage a bushier growth. But a lot of times after the blooms have, been spent, and sometimes even when the blooms are still on there, which I'm going to show you on my white one that I have out here in front of the office, it's real simple. It's actually kind of fun to do if you like pruning. It's no different than when you were in kindergarten and you decided to cut your best friend's hair. It's that easy. So what we're going to do is, even though this one is beautiful and it's still blooming, it'll continue to bloom, even after it's pruned. So don't worry about that. You don't ever want to cut back more than a third of the plant, though. It is probably about 9 o'clock in the morning right now. You do want to try to do it when it's not overly hot. So not anything during the midday. I would suggest doing it either early morning or maybe even late evening. That way it just doesn't stress the plant out quite as much, which you shouldn't notice anything overly stressful looking unless it's just super duper dry, which we have not had this week. It's been quite wet. So the first thing we're going to do, get you some scissors or some pruners or some little hand shears, and we're just literally going to bunch it up. All right, I'm going to try to show you on this side because I know it's hard to see from that angle. I'm just going to grab and bunch and decide how low I want it to be. I tend to like them, instead of giving them a flat top, kind of sort of rounding and bubbling them. So I'm just going to give you a little example. Well, I say a little example. We're going to try to do it fairly quick. No rhyme or reason, just grabbing. Try not to get your fingers. I have done that multiple times. And just start pruning. Have fun with it. Try your best to get it similarly the same length all the way around of the shape that you want. If it doesn't look right the first time, you could always go back and prune and get a little bit more of the length or shape off to your satisfaction. I tend to do this on average maybe 3 times, 4 times max during the summer. And y'all kind of get a good idea of what we're doing here because it's showing. I've decided I think I'm going to break down and get me one of those, I guess, little GoPros or something. Because right now, I have y'all propped up in a plant tray. So like right here, I want that a little bit lower. Super easy. So y'all get out there when you want to get a chance, especially if your gaura has not started blooming. That's kind of odd because it should have already started doing that by now. But what I would suggest is to go out there and go ahead and give it a good haircut. Like I said, no more than a third of the plant, and we'll see if we can't get that baby jump started into putting on some blooms. All right, now, if I were doing this on just my casual on basis, because I'm kind of weird and kooky, and I'll come out here and snip on a few more little things. But as far as right now, you get the gist of how it's now like a bloom. And that's as simple as that. I'll kind of back it up and show you guys what it looks like. So you can tell how it's kind of globed over now with all my trash right here. And it was real wispy and leggy, which I love the wispy, leggy look, but it will come back with even more blooms. Y'all message me if you have questions.